Hello everyone, this is Heath and welcome back into my channel. In today's video, we're going to be reacting to Vogue's Life and Looks. This video specifically features Sarah Jessica Parker, which is an icon in the fashion industry. She has really been a trendsetter from her days in Sex and the City, and I'm hoping to see some of those iconic looks from that era because really she dominated that space of fashion in that time frame. And she can be considered one of the first social influencers or fashion influencers of that time frame. I feel like there was a big transition from socialites setting the haute couture fashion trends into the world to a more consumer-facing way, which has been illustrated through Instagram and the rise of the Instagram model. A lot of fashion houses are now looking towards those niche influencers that are really making a change in the fashion industry. So without further ado, let's see what Sarah Jessica Parker has to say about her 17 iconic looks in Vogue. Alright, without further ado, let's get started.
Both my daughter's hands went to their mouths and they were like, "You're on the cover of Vogue?"
Oh my god. She's a drama queen.
This is Sarah Jessica Parker, and this is a fraction of my life in looks. Every single thing on me is from a vintage store, with the exception of whatever's in my hair, and apologies for that. I did it that day. I'm sure there was a diffuser
Vintage is super sustainable, so we love that for her.
We can talk about that on another, my master class in hair from what would this be, 85, 86 maybe? I don't recognize this person. I don't understand the sunglasses in particular. I think they're awful on me. I think, once again, it's not the fault of the glasses. The earrings are a mystery to me. I don't know if I saw that like in a movie from 1947. The period at the end of the sentence.
You know, it speaks to the time. A lot of people back then really like to express themselves with accessories, which I feel like she did here. And when it translates to now, where everything is very much planned and coordinated, it doesn't really make sense. But at that time period, it really does. So I can see where she's like, girl.
The peace necklace. She showed up in a lot. I mean, I didn't take her off. And I used to sign everything. Like if somebody asked me for my signature, I always signed. Wage, peace, love, Sarah Jessica. Anyway, I still have that necklace. I think there's a whole interesting conversation about influence and a collective kind of thing that happens without influence. And I'd been shopping at thrift shops for a long time, just like on my own because it was a necessity. You know, Madonna and Cyndi Lauper hadn't surfaced, but I was wearing like big rayon dresses from the 40s. Like that's just what I did. So this dress is a Donna Karan dress that I know. Once again, I'm not making excuses, but like I would never wear this dress. Like I would never wear this dress. But I am wearing this dress, and I know that that's me, and I cannot pretend that it's anybody else. Like, it's a perfectly constructed dress. The idea of it was amazing.
It looks so good on her frame.
That moment, yes.
You can tell she really didn't like that because they really didn't illustrate the dress closely, which is very telling when you're like, it's iconic and everyone recognizes it, but it's in the past, so we're gonna leave it back there.
What can I tell you? What do you want to know?
Oh yeah, this is so iconic.
Really, this is great. A lot of people claim they have the tutu. I think Pat has one. Michael Patrick has one. We just used one, so my guess is...
Should I get a tutu, guys? I don't think they make it in my size.
4, 5, or 6. These were Jimmy Choo shoes. I'm pretty confident. This was a tank top, you know, a nothing tank top. We didn't do a lot of takes. We rehearsed it, we timed it. As you do, you know, you kind of get all the pieces together without, you know, adding the liquid. You know, like that's kind of.
But I feel like that's what made it so good. It was literally back to back.
When you're doing a scene where you're getting splashed or you're falling into, say, a lake in Central Park, you have to find something that has multiples. So, but it can't just simply be multiples. It has to be artistically, sartorially, like it has to fit a lot of criteria. So, my guess is that Pat and I, as we always did, talked about a bunch of choices. And at the end of the day, this is where we landed. Tank top, tutu, and heels. So there were a lot of these, which explains why people all claim to have. I don't think I have. Do I have a tutu? I do. So I have.
See, that is something that I really like. They partner up things that really didn't match or mesh together, but it somehow made it iconic because I feel like in fashion, especially now in the world of fast fashion, you can get so many different pieces that have they're little bit different each, but you can make it your own by including like pieces like the tutu, where traditionally that wouldn't be a outfit that someone will put together, but when you do that and it changes the trajectory of the look, it really does make a difference because it's your own style.
But I'm gonna should have just cut to the chase. Where is it? Who's got it? I've got it. Turn the page. You bored yet? All the flower pins are in my possession. They went to, and just like that, they went back into Carrie's closet. There are pins. There are non-pins. There are flowers on, a bobby pin. And I have some of my own, and I still have a little drawer in my own closet that's just sentimental. I wear them sometimes, or I'll stick them in my hair. I'll stick them on a bun. I'm very happy with that. Mr. De La Renta made this for me. I love
Oscar
this
De La
dress.
Renta
And
from my country.
yes, I wouldn't wear feathers today. My favorite memory is himself. Always so invested and always cared and always took care of details, but also just like always smelled good, looked good, knew how to kind of be in a salon, very old-fashioned ideas about a client and a customer. And
yeah, Oscar De La Renta really, really does make iconic dresses, and it really does illustrate his passion for the woman figure and fashion, which is translated within his clothing.
This was Laura Mercier makeup. These were Fred Leighton earrings, which were such a big deal for me to borrow. But what I remember so much about this night was that after the awards were over, when we came back and people were gathered and eating, and Laura Mercier said to me, 24-hour guarantee before I left. She was always like, 24-hour guarantee. And I was like, she's right. It was hours and hours and hours and hours later, and my makeup was still like
flawless.
I think I've seen criticism of it. Enjoy, have fun. This was like a SAG Award event, I think. This was Prada.
Ooh, that two-piece set.
Get to borrow something you like, you think it speaks
not my
you
favorite, but you know what? It is a showstopper.
And you wear it, and maybe some people think you don't look amazing, and that's certainly their right. I think the difference is that we all walk out the door every single day. Most of us try to make a choice that makes us feel good or like ourselves or appropriate for where we're going or who we're going to be with. We don't walk up to each other and say things like, oh, awful. So what's so funny to me about this is like how much chatter it provokes, because I'm like, but it's just a thing. It's just an outfit that happened because that person liked it. So what's the point of the criticism? We're all just kind of like making an attempt every day to offer ourselves up to another person.
Your fashion really does speak on your personality, okay, which is so true what she's saying right there.
Hermes bag, just so you know.
She has
had a purse.
Birkin.
And she's like, do you want one?
That looks like enough for you.
No, I don't really. No, I don't need one. But this isn't real. The dress is real.
Wait,
the dress is real, and it's juicy couture. Super pregnant.
A firkin? A firkin?
Look how big that bag is. I mean, that bag had one job to do, and it did it very poorly. Maybe if it was a real Hermes bag, it would have done a better job. Colors I typically wouldn't wear.
Yeah.
Very bold. I didn't really get to dress that much as myself when I was pregnant because
Y'all, Carrie Bradshaw, or Sarah Jessica Parker, was the first person to order from DHL. Not DHL. DHgate. Or AliExpress, they have it too.
This cover, I don't even think I'm fit to comment on it. It's a cover of Vogue.
She looks stunning.
Steve Mizell.
Exactly.
Well, we were,
enough set. Drops mic.
September 11th, so we were all different. I had a child. I probably was just living more civilian. I was probably attempting to live, you know, I'd taken a little bit of time off, and I mean, I'm a New Yorker, so life was like a New Yorker's, you know? Christine.
Very regular schmegler girl.
Last shot of Sex and the City, I remember this day so well. I brought that scarf from home. Pat loved it. That shoe we wore a lot in a bunch of silhouettes. That's a Manolo red, sort of like more, almost like it's barely red. It's like vermilion / going into like tomato. Carrie was a much more courageous dresser than I am.
Yeah, that color combo.
Fevered relationship with fashion, much more indulgent. You know, I just want to say
she's in a
that
different
this
stage
day,
of her
I
life.
didn't read this last scene until I was on my way to the set because I did not want to know how the show ended, and only when I read the last page did I see John called, and that was the first time the name was revealed to me. Like, I'm going to say 6 minutes before they called action. This is Annie Leibovitz for sure, and I'll tell you why I know. Annie always likes hair that way. I'm much more inclined to simply fit into what has been in her brain because she does so much prep. She really goes into a space ahead of time. She's there for 2 or 3 days. She has such specific ideas about pillows and fabric and lights and stacks and layers and dimension. Like, we feel it is our job to figure out where we fit into like the tableau. And I almost can't talk about it. I loved this so much. It's been made clear
I love
to
how
me
she's
that
getting
not
like
everybody
gagged
felt the
up
same
for
way about the
this.
stress, which maybe makes me feel even more affection for it. The bird, I'm not going to repeat the bird story. I think everybody knows the bird story.
I know the bird story.
The conversation was this bird, I saw it and I thought it was magnificent. What was so crazy to me about this were the colors. Like, the colors are,
it's so
especially in
vibrant.
person, like, you can't tell. We knew how we felt about it, and it, like many things, it didn't have, like, we couldn't throw ourselves in front of the court and make a really reasoned argument. Like, we had every possibility of losing the case. Didn't share or discuss with Michael Patrick King in advance, which was, you know, not fair. It was a little bit of an ambush. And when I came to the set, he was like, "Why is there a bird on your head?" And I was like, look at the bird. You would have made the same decision. Of course, you know, he argued against, and he wins a lot for good reason. Like, there's a whole thing that's happening always in
Gotta
his
put
head.
your
He knows
stamp
stuff
on
I
it.
don't know.
I'm wearing this and you're not taking it off.
But we won. And then of course he put it in. I think later on she was like, I had a bird on my head. Zach Posen made this dress for the ballet. Love this dress. Absolutely.
That
this
dress
fabric,
is...
you can't do right by it in a picture. Was like, had a
and the
switch
2 color
inside
tone
it.
shoes.
Love these shoes.
Wow.
These shoes are called Vogue.
You see?
SJP
Adding those
collection.
colors?
They're a beautiful shoe. They're a comfortable shoe. They're gorgeous, and they're naughty. See, there's this color Rish, and there's this color Candy or Fuchsia. I loved everything about it. I loved that night, and it was for the ballet, so that was a big deal for the New York City Ballet. Annie Leibovitz, my husband and I, 2 years ago, shooting for Vogue to talk about Plaza Suite, which I'm running to rehearsal in about 15 minutes to go rehearse. This is inside the Hudson Theater.
She's a working girl.
The oldest theater on Broadway, redone. Annie at her fastest, though. Like, this was a fast shoot inside that theater. And my handsome husband.
Aww.
What's Carrie shuffling around? And during the darkest days of the pandemic, when it didn't matter and she had to run to the deli or
that was grandma chic right there.
What did she throw on her feet that she could wear with a tube sock or a woolen sock or tights or naked or bare, whatever? This was written because of one of the writers' own personal stories about when they were smoking and trying not to be seen smoking. They put actually on a hoodie zipped all the way up with a hood like super tight around their face, and they wore Playtex kitchen, dish gloves and big sunglasses.
That's so girls just smoking cigarettes at that point.
Smoking. So I love this Bathsheba gingham house coat, and I was like, well, let's do this version of that. And then we found
it's giving a grandma cheap. I got the money. Those trust funds are hidden.
Fernando and Laura for Oscar de la Renta. And this dress has such an interesting, quick story because this pink wasn't there initially. There was other tulle, and as we had these couple of fittings, this evolved into this. All the embroidery,
but that pink tooling really does add a different texture to the outfit and makes it pop, which I like.
Absolutely perfect. I loved it. This is me going to work downtown. These are all my own clothes from my closet. This is an old dress that I found at a thrift shop. It's kind of basically like a dirndl, and I love it because I can wear anything underneath it. This is an old shirt that I got from a thrift shop.
Even though you would think those patterns are clashing, she wore this overall,
purchase of mine. This is Ula John's
overall like coat that was so minimal that it brought the outfit together overall, which is a good way when you're wearing a lot of different patterns. In order to make it work, you need to dumb it down a little bit by adding a different dimension or something over it that is very muted in order to make it shine.
And I love this coat so freaking much. These are socks I've had for a really long time.
The Gooch.
That Gigi gave me years ago, but I just keep wearing them. This is our shoe, our SJP collection shoe that's file or grosgrain. The entire body is, and it's called Lady. And she's a classic. She's an evergreen. I like wearing whatever I like, and I tend to not worry too much about if it matches. And the mask is not okay. I love this cover, and I can't tell you why specifically, except I'll just say one thing.
That is
so interesting.
best look down, like, overall.
And Anna sent it over early, like a couple days before, well, what we thought was going to be its proper release. I showed it to my daughters, which I never do anything like that. You know, magazines aren't as much a part of their life as might have been when I was their age. You know, I was like, girls, I have to show you something, and I pulled it out. And both my daughters' hands went to their mouths, and they were like,
"Aww,
you're on the cover of Vogue?" I didn't know that they were aware of Vogue magazine, but they live in New York. They walk to school every day. They see all the kiosks. You know, they're
that
in the
dress.
world.
Oh my
like,
god, the embroidery in that dress.
So that was very touching to me. I was so tickled by how it was so innocent and unknowing and not ruined. Then my daughter Tabitha says, which this blew my mind, she said, Mama, there's no writing on that magazine. Usually it's so busy. I had not said a word. I was like, I thought that was so interesting.
Because she's worth it. She's really worth that.
Which to me was the thing that was so extraordinary about this cover, was it's like not concerned. It's all ego in the best possible way.
Understated is the biggest statement.
Everybody on the editorial side was like, yeah, we don't have to put anything else here. And this is not about me. This is about their own ability to create image and know what to do on a cover of a magazine, which I don't know what to do, but it's striking in its absolute bareness. Like, that's what I think is one of the amazing things. And the photographer was amazing that day, and it was just an amazing shoot, you know, shoved in the middle of a crazy schedule, and I feel super, super lucky.
Well, guys, that is it for the video. We saw 17 iconic looks from Sarah Jessica Parker. She's such an icon and has set forth so many trends. I mean, we can look into the Fendi Baguette. The Fendi Baguette really blew up because of her, and it's now having a resurgence, which really does correlate with her comeback with that Vogue cover. Sarah Jessica Parker is back, and she really did. I mean, there's this extreme resurgence of early 2K fashion that is really being pushed forward, and the Fendi Baguette bag did make a comeback and is still here to stay. It's an icon, it's classic, and she is partially responsible for its success. Well, guys, without any further ado, that is the end of the video. I hope you guys really like this reaction. I want to implement more of this reaction side because part of being in the fashion industry is learning its history, and Sarah Jessica Parker, with all her iconic look, has really shifted this industry. So I am so excited to continue to watch Sex and the City. I want to catch up to the newest season. I know it's just ended, but you know what? I got time, and hopefully I'll be able to finish it as soon as possible. Well, guys, if you really like this video, make sure to leave a like down below. If you have any questions or any comments on her outfits or things you didn't like or things that you did like, please leave them down in the comment section. And if you would like me to continue to do videos like this, please make sure to subscribe. Without further ado, see you guys until next time. Goodbye.